I think when you also leave stocks and go to government bonds, there is a minimum that the bondholders should have to invest, which I believe is 100,000 shillings. Nothing prohibitive. But what is very good about buying bonds is that you also have a fixed return as to what you're likely to get at the end of the year. There is that security that it will always be honored by the government. And if they need to actually print more money in order to pay this particular bondholder his coupon, then they will. Well, I think it's also the interest rates. When you think, if you usually are going to do a corporate bond, you're going to benchmark it off a government, what we call a free government rate. So it would be either T-bill or the bond. And already the interest rates are fairly pricey. I know they've been coming down, but it also affects the cost that when you're now pricing the corporate bond, you're going to say maybe the T-bill rate, which is probably, let's say 8%, and then you're going to actually add the transactional fees, the other fees that you add, and then you're also going to add guarantee fees. You're going to add, there are certain interest rates that you add in order to come with the final pricing that you put to the bond. And if the underlying asset in its very self is priced really high, it makes this particular corporate bond quite expensive. So as interest rates come down, I think the opportunity to actually use corporate bonds is now worthwhile. And I believe right now is the time to do something like this. Again, even this Friday, Argentina is in the news again because their bond is now yielding, I think, 40%. It may be high, but again, government is bound to pay out that coupon to the bondholder. Well, in Uganda, the bond market has not been as broad as the government bonds. I think the last government bond, corporate bond we actually had was Kakira Sugar Works. And I believe the number of shareholders or participants were not as broad as those who participated in IPOs like Umeme. So it would be good for companies like MTN, like any big company here in Uganda to also broaden its wings to borrow from the bond market, so that Ugandans can also place money in this kind of assets. Investment clubs would benefit from that, other than just putting it in a fixed deposit in a bank. So it's not as broad as it should be, but it would be nice to see it become more active. An SME would benefit from the ecosystem that comes with being on the stock market. The brand of this particular company would go up, and people would respect the service and the product that comes from this particular company. Would also assume that the standard of corporate governance would go up, which would be, I think, an additional to trust to this particular company. And then it would also attract more private equity players to come in and buy into this particular business as the business wants to scale up. The ability for shareholders to see that it's better to have a much profitable pie than a smaller pie that is only mine and I own it would also fare well in the eyes of the investors when they're looking at this particular company, that this company really looks at wanting to be more efficient and more accountable, and that in its very self is an attractive element to helping this company actually grow. So it's beyond just the money that it receives. There are other eco benefits that come with being listed on the stock market, and you can actually change from bond to commercial paper to more rights issues. There are more financial products that come with being listed.